Most investors chase growth, renovators chase margin, because a suburb can look great on paper and still be a terrible place to live. Today I'm joined by Thao Bui, an investor turned renovator who has completed 12 projects, sold 9 flips in around 2.5 years, and built her strategy around finding suburbs where the numbers actually stack up. From Melbourne to Queensland, she's flipping properties remotely. She's built a system around spotting the gap, reading the data, and making sure the profit is still there after every cost is counted. So if you want to know how to spot suburbs that are great for renovation profit, not just capital growth, this one's for you. Tao, everyone talks about property investing and investing in high growth suburbs. But if you're renovating for profit, definitely that's a different strategy. So, how do you spot suburbs where reno actually pays off?
For me, from my experience, is you've got to learn the skill. Look at the renovated house and unrenovated house. What's the gap? Does that gap enough to cover all the costs? And by the time you deduct all the buying, selling cost, holding, and renovation cost, you still make a decent profit margin. That is a good suburb to flipping.
Do you also look at, the ratio of owner occupiers versus renters? Because we know owner occupiers are the one that will gonna pay more, right?
Everyone talk about it when I started flipping, to be honest. For me, my experience quite slightly different approach because my journey started as an investor and interstate. I've sort of learned the skill to buy property with the capital growth potential, right?
Yep.
And that's from investors' perspective.
Yes.
So we look at fundamental, we look at low vacancy, high yield, supply and demand, and then high increased rental return, right? So that's the fundamental that I've done when I started buying hold. But when I looking at flipping, I was looking at how do I create a product that it still makes sense for investors when they buy.
Right. So it's not only the owner occupier, but also for investors.
So my flip, I've done 12 projects now. I never look at owner occupier as my buyer.
Right.
Like my end buyer is has always been investors. So where I find my market, it has like the fundamental where the capital growth, there's short-term growth and their long-term growth. But once I find that market, I would go there and learn on the ground, as in what buyers are looking for, what is the resale price once I renovate and sell. I still like makes sense for investors.
Right.
So even if investors buy my end products, they still make money too. They still get the high yield. So it makes sense for them for the cash flow and they still have that capital growth, even they buy after renovated.
Right, right. But
Mhm.
looking at growth, you mentioned if a suburb is good for growth, right? What makes you say that it's not good for reno?
I think it's when there not enough gap between renovated and unrenovated. For example, like the Melbourne market, when I was looking at to do flipping, because the price quite high, you're looking at 700 buy in. So there is a capital growth potential in Melbourne market that everyone's talking about now. But when I look at all the costs, buying and selling and holding and renovations, I can't find the margin that suit my strategy because for me it's affordability. So does it make sense for someone buying? Like, can they afford it? So I was looking at Broadmeadows and Dallas, right?
Right.
And I was thinking, how can I buy under market value and add value from renovations and still sell so that makes sense for investors? Like, it doesn't make sense for me because the price range it's quite high for my strategy. For me, if I can buy something 350, adding like 100K renovations and selling for 550, I still make that profit margin based on my total cost. But it
Mm,
doesn't make sense if I go to Broadmeadows and Dallas because the holding costs and like everything is just higher.
right.
So for me, it's more risk.
Okay, that's really great. But let's take it two steps back, right? Like you mentioned a while ago, you were a property investor first before you started flipping properties.
Yeah.
So, how did you start? Like when? What year was this?
So I started 2021.
Right after
When
COVID.
I sold, yeah, just after COVID, because I was running a news agency business and I ran that for 6 years. And with COVID, I was like, I don't see myself doing this for another 5 years. So when I sold the business, I was looking at how I can keep buying properties because I know investing in real estate, you can make a decent money in the long run. And I was trying to do it in the short term. Like, so can it replace my income? I didn't know how. I started with buy and hold. I follow PK and I bought three properties in a few different states. Bought one in Bundaberg, one in Horsham, and one in Armadale, and most like almost double in 18 months. And I was thinking like, how can I keep buying?
So you were one of PK's students.
Yes. Yes. Very proud. Very proud to be one of his.
Well, for people who don't know, PK is one of those, I'd say, respectable property investors in the industry. There's been a lot of success from his students, and you're one of them, right?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Who became a property investor first and now start
Flipping.
flipping. What made you transition from being a property investor to, okay, I can do this. Let me see if I can do flipping.
When I bought three properties, I was maxed out borrowing capacity. And at the time, I said I was so addicted in buying. Like I was asking myself how I can keep buying. How can I do more? I don't want to be passive investor. I want to be active investor. So then I start learning how to do renovate. I've done some renovation program and then I use my own PPOR as practice. That was my first renovations practice. And learning that skill, I just look at buying whole differently because I want to add value in a short period of time rather than waiting or at least a year to make that uplift. That
Did
was,
you do any renovation
yes,
course?
yes.
Oh, okay.
It was really helpful because I think the skill set stack up. Like you learn where to buy, how to talk to agents, how to negotiate deals from all that transaction, right? I've done three transactions and I want to buy more. I didn't know how because I didn't want to go back to 9 to 5 after I sold my business. And I was looking in the property industry to see what I can do because I was wanting to buy more and then I look at flipping as another strategy, a stack up strategy for me from what I already know from buying whole interstate. Yeah, so learn that skill, renovations, and my number four properties when I bought in Rockhampton when I started, that was 2023. So it took me 2 years.
So 3 years after.
Yeah, like my first property in Bundaberg was 2022,
Oh, okay.
like early because I joined PK end of 21, and then I bought my first one in 22, and I bought two in 2022, and then Armadale early 2023, and then bought number four in Rockhampton August 23. That's the first deal. That's how I started. I've just took it as like the practice. I thought, let me just see if I can do a flip because I want to buy in whole, and that probably the last time that I can do. I can use my normal borrowing capacity, like normal lending to buy. So I thought, if this doesn't work, I can hold it. And apparently, there's a strategy for it. They call BRRRR, American terms: buy, renovate, rent out, refinance, and repeat. And I was obsessed with that strategy. Like I've talked about Burr everywhere I go. I said that's probably for me to explain that strategy, probably a combination of buy and hold and flip.
Who wouldn't be obsessed on that strategy if, especially if you're really making, if you're really making profit out of it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because I was like, I've done 3 transactions and it make money, but then at the time I didn't have the confidence to like like no one have the crystal ball to say I bought this one and I'm gonna make that growth, right? I feel like it just you hoping to get that equity uplift or that growth. So I didn't want to take that chance. So I thought I'm just gonna make that. I'm just gonna make that growth from renovation, from the value add.
So where's the first property?
Yeah, so the first property I bought is a Medcraft in Park Avenue in Rockhampton, one of the suburb at the time. Uh, I I've done
So is it okay if we show them the property
yeah,
you
yep,
renovated?
cool, cool.
So this is your first reno in Park Avenue in Queensland. Can you tell us more about it?
This is the burr strategy. This is my first burr strategy. So I use the buy and hold. So I find the market that has the potential for growth using PK method. And then I use the renovations as an uplift. And I also learn to run the numbers, like run the feasibility, pretty much use the flipping strategy. To
So these are the photos before reno.
Yep,
Uh, Look at those pink walls and those carpets.
I know. And at the time, there's a lot because I like Rockhampton. Like I'm flipping in Rockhampton 2 years now. I'm still there. The reason because there's so many like old duckling house. Like a lot of house need to be renovated. So there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of stock.
Yeah, it looks like this house has a lot of opportunities. And this is the after
This is
reno.
after the reno, but that photo we took without the shower screen because we were waiting for the shower screen to arrive. It's just some delay, but we had to take the photo before.
Nice. You really did a good job in here.
So this property, I bought it 248,
Wow, 248. That's really good.
248.
Can we run the numbers?
Sure, sure.
Cool, cool. So you bought this for 248, right? And how much did you sell it for?
540.
Right, 540. So you added 20% deposit?
This one I did 20%.
Right. So let's assume the other costs, stamp duty and legal, almost 7%. So your total acquisition cost is around 66 grand. And for the rental cost, is 10% feasible for flipping?
This is what we learn from investors' perspective, right? We don't spend more than 10% on the purchase price.
So 10% is not feasible for flipping.
No, that was investor perspective. But when I looking at flipping, this is something I talked to PK about at the time, and we always talk about don't spend more than 10%
Yep.
on the purchase, which means the max is like 25,000, right? It doesn't work for flipping. Like with the flipping, we have to look at so this is how much we pay, and then what needs to be done, and then we look at the comparable sales once we renovate it, how much we can sell it for. So it's very different to normal investor theory.
Right, right. So, okay, so 10% is not feasible for flipping. Okay,
So
so,
I spent 110K
right, so
on the
110.
renovations,
So that's around what, 45%.
like 45%. Yeah.
And for the contingency, how much did you put in there?
We use contingency 10%.
Right, okay, 10%. And how many months did the reno take to finish?
So this one, I settled this one in August 23, and we finished renovation in 4 months. So around December, that we finished the renovations. Um, I was looking at to put it on the market for flipping. Um, at the time, my resale value is 450.
And how many months did the reno take again to
So four
finish?
months.
Four
So
months.
settle in August and finish renovation in 4 months. Usually usually I do flip under 6 months turnaround time. So by the time you put it on the market, um, you wait for the buyer to come in and then settlement another 30 days within 6 months, right? But at the time, because this one, I was so obsessed with birth strategy, I was like, I don't want to sell this one for a 60, 70K profit. I want to hold it.
Right. So you held the property.
So I rented out at the time because it's renovated. We rented out roughly about 500 a week and was all cost in 365.
But that's a decent yield.
And so what I did, I actually got the refinance 320 because they're based on the 80% on the resale. Yeah, so refinance 320, rent 500. That pretty much just cover the cost for my rent. So that means with this deal, like compared to normal investment that I've done, I pretty much only use 45K on this deal.
So 4 months, right? And then let's just say these are all your holding costs, and then the selling cost, roughly, is it within the ballpark?
Yeah. So at the time, I think I've estimated net profit. Like if I sell for 450, I could make roughly about 60K.
And it was sold for 540, and this
So
is
so from holding it extra year,
mhm.
I make extra 100K.
Nah. So, but
But
if you have sold it earlier, that would have been 450, right?
yeah, yeah.
But since you held it, you made 100 grand more. Nice, nice. And that's how you. All right. I think I can do this. I can do it again.
Yes, that's the first one, and I'm like, yes, it works. I can do flipping full time now.
Talk to me about this second one.
So this one, I rented out December, got refinanced. So the 7 Maycraft, I got refinanced it after. So now I'm looking at the proper flip strategy because at the time I didn't have. I'm maxed out. I can't borrow anymore. So this is have to be a flip, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's no options. I didn't have the money at the time. So I actually learned from another flipper that I connected with.
Mm-hmm.
That was end of 2023, and he's actually done a lot of flips using other people money. So I said to him, "Can you teach me?"
Right. So basically, you guys had a money partner.
Yes. So pretty much we use investors' money to do flipping.
How did you find this property in the first place?
So the flipping strategy, it has like because we have to find the really under market value, then we have enough gap. So then we can spend money on renovation, holding costs, buying, selling costs, and we still make a decent profit. That means we have to use different strategy. We can't just bring in agents or rely on the listing,
Yeah.
right? So that means we have to use the let us drop strategy.
Right. Okay.
Um, so with this one, I at the time I was working with my other mentor. Not only he teach me to use money partners, investors' money to do flip. So then I don't rely on my own fund. And that means I can do as many deals as I can find. With this one, using letters drop and getting deals from Facebook Marketplace.
Okay. Nice.
So this deal, I actually bought it off someone posting on Facebook community from Rockhampton
Yep.
that they have a property for sale. So I connected with them and I bought off them.
And you bought it for how much?
So was offered 260. You can bring
So
it up
direct from the owner?
direct from the owner.
Right. So that was the asking price. Did you?
So that was the offer price. So I offer them. So I look at the property. I look at I run all my numbers, and at the time I have investors' money, so I didn't have to use my own fund. I offer 260 with building and pest,
Mm,
but no finance.
right. Okay. You bought it with cash.
Yeah, because that investors' money, right?
Yep.
So that's one thing that is helps the vendor or the seller be more confident in my offer, that they know that I'm serious.
Yep. And of course, there's for them it's good as sold already because it's cash,
They
right?
solve their
There's
problem.
no financing involved.
So that solve their problem. So that's the one thing I've learned is learn the skill to negotiate, but not just lowball offer, but it just understand what the sellers wants, and you can solve their problems, and you can pay the right price that works for me and works for the seller.
Yep. Totally agree.
So yep, so that's negotiation skill that I've learned over the time, is always looking at how can I solve their problems. Mm.
Okay. I think let's go on the third one. This one in Park Avenue.
So I can talk about the deal, the first flip, 182 Elphinstone Street,
Yep.
Bersica, if you like, because that pretty much is my first flip, and that was the proof that the flipping strategy worked for me, and I know what I'm doing,
Mm,
and then I can do this full time. That's probably the first one helped me accelerate my flipping
right.
journey.
So this is the one that yes, I can really do this.
This is the this this is the turning point.
Right. Right.
Because the other one was like, okay, yep, the numbers make sense, but I haven't really sold it, so I can't really prove at the time
Yeah, because
that I can do this full
you
time.
held it for a while, right?
And I
But at
hold,
least
yeah,
this one, you really flip it.
yeah. It's just like a lot of people talk about, oh yeah, I get the uplift, I make the equity, but then until you sold it, you don't know what real figures, real numbers that you make in term
Mm,
of net profit. So
yep.
you can, yeah, you can say I bought this, I make this such equity, right? And then I refinance it, but until you sold it, there's not real.
Yeah. True. True. True.
Yeah. So this one is pretty much the first one. You can bring it up. I can talk about the numbers and also how I negotiate 40K down from the 260.
Oh, so you negotiated from because it was
260, I
260, right?
negotiate down, yep, down 40K.
So it was 220,
Yep.
right? Okay, nice. So okay, let's copy this and let's put the address here. So let's just say yep. Okay, let's put the address here. Yep. So it was 260. I advertised. So let's say that was, and then you were able to negotiate at 220 because cash.
Yep.
And then of course, there's no finance, so it's cash.
And I pay for the buying costs,
Yep.
holding costs and renovation costs, but I use investor fund.
For this, did you also spend 45% in this one?
Yeah, yep. So that's the thing with flipping. Once you're in the market, like I'm in Rockhampton area, so most of the house are old, and it's not like Melbourne market or Sydney market that you can spend 40K just on the cosmetics. On this deal, the reason I can get 40K down because I have to replace stump.
Yeah. Okay. Makes
So
sense.
straight away 30, 40K that adds on top.
Right. This also lasted for 4 months.
This one is it's at 4 months.
4 months. Okay.
Mm.
So let's just put here zero because right. So a holding cost. And how did we? What's the sold price again? 470.
470.
Yeah, 470. So 100 grand before tax.
This one after the selling cost, I make roughly about 76K
Nice, nice.
within 4 months
Within 4 months.
because that's
Nah.
settlement to settlement.
Yep. Nice. And the thing is, what's crazy is you're based in
Melbourne,
Melbourne, right?
yeah,
And these properties that you renovated, these are in Queensland.
in Queensland. So I've done everything by remotely.
So you're doing this remotely, and you're also a mom of how many kids?
One,
One,
I
right?
have a
So you're a
daughter.
mom, and then you're doing this remotely. How?
To be honest, at the time, I didn't know how. I said, just don't worry about the how.
Just,
I'll,
just, just
I'll
take action. Just do it, right?
just take actions every day to like at the time. I'm like, how do I do this? So for me, it's just focus on everyday actions. It's like, okay, if I want to do this flip, who, not how. So I read a book. I remember it's like who, not how. I just set a goal. I said I want to do flipping full time. I want to find a deal within a month, two. What can I do and what action do I take every day? And I pretty much just focus on the daily actions. Like I didn't even know how I'm gonna make it, how long I can find deal, or if I can even make money. Well, I just don't know. I just don't know how. But I figured out who can help me find deal and who can help me renovate, who can help me inspect the property, and who can help me manage all my renovations while I'm not there. It's sort of like it's just another skill set by itself, I think, 'cause I've learned how to find deal, how to talk to agents, how to negotiate, but now I have to learn another skill is how do I find people?
Wow, that's totally different skill from compared to just being property investor.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so far, how many properties as an investment do you have?
As the investment, I have 3 properties that I bought before flipping,
Yep.
still holding it, and I'm actually holding 2, and I have sold 9 flips in 2 years.
Since you started, how many properties have you flipped?
9.
9.
Like bought and sold. It's already
Wow.
sold. Yep. That within 2.5 years, so roughly about 4 or 5 a year.
Oh, that's
Mm. And I hold 2 properties, and I'm now renovating my number 12.
number 12.
So 12 for projects since. It's
Wow.
crazy to be honest. I ye like, even if you ask me how, I like, I don't know how, I just do it. Pretty much I
that's the most challenging part, right? That's where you get, yeah, you're doing it, and then you're a mom, but the most tricky part there is you're doing it remotely.
it's yeah, it's sounds crazy, but I think, um, it's possible, like, I've done it. And, uh, a few other investors that follow me, they have done it as well, and some of them even done more successful than me. Like, from the beginning, they just pretty much just reach out to me and just ask me how do you do it? And I'm like, okay, this is how I do it. And then they pretty much done it better than me.
Because I did also reno one of our property, and for that, yeah, I was the one doing some of the stuff that I can do, painting and all. But for the rest, definitely you need to hire an
Yeah,
electrician, a tradie to
live
do all of
license.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and project managing, talking to people is another different set of skills.
Yes, yes.
Managing
So that's the
studios.
thing. Yeah, so that's the thing. I've actually read the book 10x Easier Than 2x, very famous book, and it's more like who not how, and also is focusing on your strength and what you're good at, and then delegate others things that you're not good at. So when you talk about you're doing your renovation yourself, that's not that's not effective, right? That's not a good strategy because the time that you spend doing it, you got to learn all that skill and it takes time to do it. You rather just hire someone to do it. So for me, doing it remotely is the same thing. Like I can't go physically inspect the property because I don't have that skill.
Yep.
Like I would rather hire a builder, ex-builder or renovators or someone on the ground to do that task for me. And just like when you I bought properties interstate, but I had to hire professionals to do inspection for me, right? Building and pest, property manager, someone to inspect the property on your behalf. So I'm thinking, even if I go there, I don't know what to look for. Like,
That's the reason why you hire local
yeah,
professionals.
professionals to do that task because it's gonna take me years to learn that skill.
Yes. So you can focus on other things that you're really good at.
Yeah, yeah, like because I was so addicted in buying. I love data. I love I love talking to investors of like where do you find hot suburbs? How do
You
you
mentioned data, right?
yeah.
So property investing and flipping properties are totally different strategies. So when you're
Mm.
finding properties to flip, what are the data points that you usually look at?
The data for renovating that has always been the fundamental, like I said earlier, is low vacancy rate, high demand supply, high yield. That's my strategy. I like to be in an area that if I need to hold, I can hold as well. So giving me the high yield and it has that gap, that uplift. So using data as in spot the suburb that where I want to go there and target my flipping projects. That probably is the first things I do if I go to a market to start flipping there. That's where I found Rockhampton back in 2023. It has a really good data, and it even if you just buy and hold, you still make money. You still have that capital growth since like 2023. It's almost double growth.
Right, that's really great. Combining growth fundamentals data with other metrics you look at for flipping. That way you maximize everything, both manufactured equity and also take advantage of capital growth while holding the property after reno. But what do you think of median price gap data, by the way? Which tells which areas have a huge price gap. Example, a three bedder to four bedder having a price gap of 100 grand. So what do you think of that?
So that data is really important as well because that just show there is the enough improvement uplift in terms of turning two better to three better, and you make that improvement like 100K is pretty good value uplift if you have that improvement potential.
Yeah, because so let's say for this one, let's just look for that metric inside SuburbsFinder. If we want to renovate or do a cosmetic reno, so this is what I usually also look at. So if I want to see what are the areas that the gap between a three bedder and four
Yep.
bedder has a minimum gap of 100 grand, then I already know where they are. Now I just have to find a property, a three bedder
Mm-hmm.
with an extra living room or rumpus, and then convert
Yep.
that into another room. Now I manufactured an equity of 100 grand instantly, right, without doing the complete
Yep.
total reno of the whole place. I just added another wall and another door.
Correct. Yes. Um, and that's one of the key in flipping. Like, how do you increase the living space? I think flipping is about problem solving as well. Like, it just I pretty much just solve problems every day. Like the budget blowout, things went wrong, and
Yeah, I think budgeting is one of the most important part, right?
yep,
And the other part that needs to consider is the target sales price. So, how do you determine your target sales price?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like realistic resale price, the property renovated. Always make sure that you have a few comparable sales to give enough evidence that you can sell for that price. Because a lot of flippers that I'm seeing make the same mistake is they make up that real end value price rather than stick to the fact. Like reality, got to find enough evidence that the property once you renovate it, it's sell for that price. And usually I just take like the average. Say if I found three properties that sold 550, 600, 650, I usually take the average price. And to be conservative rather than try to use the best case scenario. And the renovation budgets always blow out. So be ready and always have enough contingency. And also the timeline, like the holding costs and all the costs adds up a lot. So if the project delay, say if I run 4 months, now I have to run minimum 6 months. So if it's less than 6 months, that's a bonus. But if I run 4 months and it takes 6 months to finish the project, then your profit margin's lower.
Yeah, budgeting, managing tradies, and managing timelines are really important. And these are totally different skills from the regular buy and hold property investing strategy. So, what advice can you share to anyone, especially to moms like you who wants to do flipping?
I think focusing on learning that skill and then practice it over time because I've done 12 deals and every deal has a different challenge. And I always still learning. I'm always still learning every deal. I still make mistake. Like even on my number 12 deal, I still make mistake. So I think the key is just do it, but then be cautious, like run the numbers conservatively and then keep practicing. Keep doing it. You don't become an error expert if you only do a one or two deals. So that's the reason why I want to do more deals so I can learn what are the challenge.
Well, certainly flipping property has a lot of challenges. And those are golden nuggets, Tao. I learned a lot from you today, and I'm pretty sure all who watch these videos of ours also learned heaps of important stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Guys, if you want to be one of Tao's money partner, her details are in the comment below. And Tao, thanks again for your time. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.